Hello. Welcome to the She Buys It podcast. And I have a very special guest here with me today, Kendra Greene Ellis. And she is a magnificent flipper. She's a rock star real estate agent, but most importantly, she's a wife and mom, also a daughter, a sister. She's the whole package here. So we're going to be talking to her about her deals today and about what she's learned through real estate investing. Kendra, you want to say hi and introduce yourself?
Hey, like you said, my name's Kendra Greene Ellis. I'm also in Knoxville, Tennessee. So Whitney and I are kind of in the same market, but not a competition. I'm just so excited to be here today and just share a little bit of what we've learned through First Deal Done Fast and She Buys It Live and all the things that we do on a daily basis, which is normal to me, but not normal to the average person.
Yeah, Kendra and I grew up very similar to each other in small businesses where our families owned the business and we were all about the business since we were like two and didn't realize what else we had going besides the business. Like Kendra and I have been BFFs in previous lifetimes and probably in this lifetime. We just didn't meet until she showed up at She Buys It Live last November. And it was awesome because at She Buys It Live on Saturday, we take a honey hole tour and I take you to my houses. Well, my honey hole is on one side of the highway and Kendra's honey hole is pretty much on the other side of the highway. So we're going and looking at all my houses and Kendra's like, yeah, that's my papa's farm. Yeah, I've got a house over there. Yeah, I did that flip right there. And I was like, who are you?
But what's the funniest thing is that you had a tour bus of people coming through our area, and I'm familiar with the area, so it's just so funny because I bet everyone else was like, what are these people doing?
It was awesome. It was a really good day. And I think the honey hole tour is kind of like show and tell because I've been to other real estate conferences and I've been on other bus tours and you always just end up at some foreclosed house that nobody actually knows anything about. Nobody knows anything about the house, the people, the community, or anything that makes this house special. And on the honey hole tour at She Buys It Live, these are actually my houses. It is definitely show and tell. And I can tell you how I got this deal. I can tell you about the sellers. I can tell you the mistakes I made on this deal. I can tell you about flipping this house. I can tell you all the things about the house because these are my houses. And the proof's in the pudding. You load up a tour bus of people and drag them around Knoxville and you actually see my stuff. And I think it's awesome. And Kendra was looking around at people from California on the bus with her, looking at these houses. And Kendra's like, what? It was awesome though. It was so awesome. So this just goes to show you that I'm the little pal kid that could, and you can be the little small town girl that makes it. You just got to get started. Right, Kendra?
Yep. And it also shows that you can be successful in any market because our areas that we work is not where most investors in the Knoxville, East Tennessee area go to.
Absolutely.
In every market.
And speaking of getting started, Kendra, I want you to tell everybody about your very first deal, way before you knew me, way before you knew anything about anything. Tell me about your very first real estate deal.
So in 2010, there was a huge hailstorm that came through and my car got damaged. And so instead of taking the insurance check and spending it on what most 18-year-olds would do, I would probably buy like a purse or something like that. I bought a mobile home with it. So I bought my first rental when I was 18 and decided that I need to invest it and not just blow it.
Not only did you buy the mobile home, you bought the land.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it was how much?
1 acre.
1 acre. And it's in what I think is a great part of town, but what most people wouldn't even consider looking at. So tell me about that very first deal. You're 18 years old. You get a huge check because your car's got hail damage, mm-hmm. and you buy a mobile home. Why would you do that? And how did you find that?
Well, it's pretty much how I was raised, because I grew up in the real estate market. I understand that it's really important to invest into real estate. And I went to my papa and said I had $8,000 that I would like to invest. And so he helped me through the whole process. He found the deal and he put it together because that's what he does. So it was his way of helping us out and just connecting me with opportunity. And then it was my responsibility to manage the rental. We tried to owner finance it, and we ended up foreclosing on them. We got it back. And now we're owner financing it again.
So you bought it for $8,000, and how old is the trailer?
It's really old. I think it's like in the maybe the 80s.
So it's like my age.
Older. It needs repairs, but when we sold it as an owner finance, we sold it as is. So they're repairing it and they're handling the taxes and everything. We just get a monthly paycheck because we're holding the loan for it.
So you spent $8,000 to buy an acre of land and an old trailer.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you owner finance it for?
45,000.
45,000. Okay, that's a pretty good chunk of change. Do these people put money down on it?
Well, this was also Papal. This buyer, Papal, had already somebody called him, so he already knew about it, and he kind of put the deal together and did the terms. So I would have liked more money down, but they made 3 payments that went towards their down payment, and then we started owner financing it. Just because of their situation in that price range, a lot of the time they don't have a lot of money to put down, so they made a few extra payments until they got their down payment.
And then how much did they pay you every month on it?
$550 a month.
$550 a month. And they stayed for how long before they quit making payments and you had to foreclose?
The first one,
Yeah.
over maybe a year and a half.
So you were, I mean, a year and a half at 550, that's $6,000. So you were almost full in your pocket before they bounced.
Yeah. And then we had to foreclose, and that cost like $1,000. And then got it back, did it again, got it back. No, actually, the second time we rented it. So, and from there until now, it's paid itself off. And then we have the new person that now it's just profit.
I love these stories about when you get started and you get started pretty small. I mean, $8,000 is a lot of money, but it's not like 80,000 or 800,000 to get started. $8,000 is very doable, and you have basically had that money for free if you were willing to drive a hail damaged car.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically started with no money out of your pocket. It was just the insurance money.
Yes.
I think that is brilliant. And for an 18-year-old to also think that was brilliant is amazing. And I am so proud of you for jumping in whole hog before you even knew what you were going to know later, right?
Yeah. What was funny was I, like, starting my real estate career, I still had that same car. So my clients would ask, they're like, well, when are you going to get your car fixed? It looked like a golf ball. Like, I'm not kidding. It was like a gray Charger, so it looked like a golf ball. And I would tell them that makes me $500 a month, so I'm going to keep driving it until it dies.
Good for you.
I ended up selling it and get a new car, but that was just a good way to show my clients that I invest in real estate as well. And especially being a young real estate agent, it's really hard for them to realize that you are professional and you understand the business. So that was one way to say that I really know what I'm talking about.
Fantastic. So tell me, when you bought that trailer, did you already have your license?
No.
So you were totally green, just what you've learned from green, I get it. Just what you've learned from your family and they've passed on to you. You bought the trailer and then decided you needed a real estate license, or how'd you make the transition from investing to wanting to represent other people with a license?
So when I was 12 years old, I watched my parents take this old farmhouse and this big chunk of land and develop it into a condo development. And that, like, they tore it down and they started building all of these units, like over 60 units. Watching them do that process was like the turning point where I realized I want to be a real estate agent. If I don't marry a builder, I'll be a builder myself, or I'm going to be an interior designer. Like, I had these dreams that I just wanted to do it all. And it turns out going to college and getting like a 4-year degree for, I don't know, business or whatever, it wasn't putting me towards what I really needed to do, because when you get your real estate license, you don't have to have a college degree. I ended up going to college and getting a marketing degree just to help in real estate, but I got my license when I was 21, right after I graduated college, and then got married.
To a builder?
Nope. He was at the time, when we first started dating, he was a busting tables and a waiter, and then he was the manager of the gym that we used to work at together. When was that? When we got engaged to when we got married, and then he had some job changes. The business owner was just not a good business owner, so my dad offered to let him come work with him and learn how to build. So it was maybe a year after we got married that he started to learn how to build with my dad. And then now, well, how long has it been? I think it's been 4 years, maybe three years that we've been on our own flipping and have our own construction company. He's now a licensed contractor, and we flip houses and all that kind of stuff.
So basically all your 12-year-old dreams have come true.
Yes.
You had to build the husband into being a builder. He didn't come that way, but now you got him.
Yeah. And I didn't know about it. And it was just all of a sudden, I just realized that, wow, what I wanted as a child is like really coming true, because I still get, my husband's a contractor, and then I get to design our houses, and I help my other investors design their flips. It, like, everything that I wanted to do, I get to do today, and every day is different, but I love every second of it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Those dreams come true, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit more about the flipping business, because you love flipping houses, right? Or do you love flipping houses?
It's really hard on the husband-wife scenario, because he's my contractor and he wants to save money. And I want it to look nice. So when it comes down to like the last week of the project, that's the most stressful part, because I have high expectations of what I want it to look like and what it really comes into. I always kind of get a little upset because it doesn't turn out perfect, but to everyone else, it's perfect, but not to me. But it's fun. I really enjoy it. We flipped our first house. 2013 maybe, and we bought it on auction.com, and we just bought it as a pre-auction bid. They actually don't do that anymore. And we ended up making like 40,000 on our first one.
Heck yeah, 40 grand.
For just putting a backsplash in it.
Oh, that's all you did was put a backsplash in it? I love it. I call that lipstick on a pig, where it doesn't really need anything. It just needs a little bit of extra help. And, you know, sometimes ladies know what I'm talking about. You just put a little bit of lipstick on and everything feels better. I love it.
It wasn't really a normal flip. So on average, we try to make about 25,000 per flip.
That's good. How many flips have you done?
Overall, over 10.
Awesome. And so you're flipping houses though, so that you can do what?
So our goal is we flip houses to make capital gains, and we take that capital gains and we're going to be starting to implement the qualified opportunity zone. And so investing it into buy and hold within the qualified opportunity zone.
That's awesome. So awesome. So take me back to last year and tell me how you found me, how you ended up at She Buys It Live. And then tell me, there was a couple of different things that happened between November and December last year. Tell me what was going on in your life that you said, you know what, flipping houses is fun, but I think I need something else.
Definitely. So, well, first of all, a friend of mine loves to listen to podcasts, and he heard your podcast a long time ago. I think it was called something different.
I think I actually it was when I had a radio show in Knoxville, Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. Y'all would be shocked to know how many people in Knoxville are listening to talk radio at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. I thought it was a dead spot, and it was a gold mine.
Really?
But I think that's where he actually heard me, because it was years ago, and it was on my radio show, I think.
So he told me that there's this girl in Knoxville that that buys houses. And he said, you know that Whitney buys houses girl all over Knoxville? And I was like, no, but I'll look into it. So then I found you on Facebook, became a member of the Facebook group, and just started watching your videos. And then I realized, I heard about the She Buys It live event, and I wanted to go. Mainly, I wanted to meet you, wanted to meet other investors that I thought they were all going to be Knoxville investors, but they were from out of town. I wanted just to be in a room full of other investors because that was interesting to me. And then playing cash flow, because I loved the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I've always wanted to play the game, but I never played it because I didn't want to spend the money just to play the game by myself. So that was a good way for me to try it out.
I give Kendra a hard time because the game is like $75. You can buy it on Amazon. And she didn't want to spend $75 to play the game, but she would spend $500 to come to an event and play the game. I love it.
You got to play with other investors and see their strategy. So,
And other lady landlords, other lady flippers, other women investors, which is different than most real estate meetups or groups or anything. So, yes. So, you came to live.
and I loved it. I mainly came, another reason is I was representing so many investors that they would go to these guru conferences, and then they would come back and they would say it has to fit this formula, it has to fit this, and we would, apparently they were trying to wholesale it, and I thought they were the actual buyers, so I was wasting my time trying to get them deals and they can't even buy it.
I've been
um,
there. I
I wanted to
represented
learn
those people too.
I wanted to learn what they're learning to where I can better represent them when it comes to being the real estate agent. So that was another big reason why I came to First Deal, or it was called First Deal Done Fast Live, but now She Buys It Live.
Yep. So about a month later, though, because you didn't join First Deal Done Fast at live, it was about another month. What happened?
So I had an investor that we were selling one of his rental houses, and I listed it. It was great, hot market. I ended up there was another buyer's agent, so I didn't get both sides. But we were sitting at the closing, and the agent had, normally they have the closing checks in envelopes, but she didn't. She had two checks, and she slid the investor $100,000 profit check and me a $4,000 commission check. And I realized, why am I doing this just to make commission and to make a quick profit on flips? I need to be playing the long game and getting more buy and hold rentals to where 10 years from now, I don't have to work. So that was the reason why I needed to learn how to find more off-market properties. So I joined First Deal Done Fast.
And those off-market properties have been pretty cool, huh?
It's been very interesting.
Tell me more.
I think you remember when I saw you at the investor meetup at Knoxville. I was telling you about Landglide. I am obsessed with finding houses and like creating my database of potential houses that I want to buy, or I would have somebody else that could buy, and sending them yellow letters, postcards, doing everything I can to market to them. So that was the little nugget that I took away from First Deal Done Fast, is how to market to off-market deals and find them, because I wasn't taught that in real estate school. You're only taught how to list houses, and
you're just barely taught how to list houses. You're mostly taught how to pass the exam in real estate class. Yes. And then you got to figure out the rest on your own. Luckily, you had a marketing degree, so you already understood marketing. And agents tell me this a lot, is that when they get in First Deal Done Fast, they're just looking for one little nugget that's going to give them an edge. And I think how to actually find off-market properties was the edge that you needed.
Definitely. Because you don't learn that in marketing when you get a marketing degree either. It's just taking everything that I've learned being a real estate agent, having a marketing degree, and working as an investor, working for other investors, and putting it all together of how can I make my system and my opportunities to benefit me and my clients. So that's what I've just been doing lately, and it's really exciting.
So tell me about your first deal after you were in First Build and Fast.
The day I joined First Build and Fast, I got a house under contract. I wore my She Buys It button and I showed
It
up
says
on.
I buy houses. It's a beautiful little ugly thing and it works so well.
Yeah.
Let me see. I got some right here. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Looks just like this. And we give them out to everybody who joins First Build and Fast. So you were wearing your button.
And I changed the way I went on that appointment. I could have went there and said, I could list your house for this and sell it to a ton of investors in this area. Instead, I was like, I understand that you're about to go into foreclosure. What do you need for the house? And he told me what he needed. We bought it for that. And then we turned around and we fixed it up. We sold it. We made about $30,000 for flipping that one house.
$30,000 on your first deal in First Build and Fast, the first day you were in First Build and Fast.
The one I got under contract. I mean, it took a few months because.
How long did it take to close?
I think it was like 3 months because we were doing another flip at the same time. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. So this is an interesting situation. I want to ask you about this because you're an agent. You represent other investors. Agents tell me this all the time, and I want to hear what your response is on this. So as an agent, if you go on a listing appointment, are you required to list the house?
I like your idea of making multiple offers, but I'm changing it a little bit to where I could say this, I'm looking at the house as a whole. You could list your house as is for this price. I can make recommendations of how to fix it up and we could sell it for this price. Or if you would like, here's an as-is cash offer for this price. So which scenario would you like to do? And giving them different options, because most realtors that go to their listing appointment, they're just going to say, I can list it for that first price. They're not going to talk to them about what repairs you can do to make it the second price. And that's where my knowledge in flipping and cost versus value and knowing what buyers like in that market is beneficial for them. But then also having the access to private money where I can flip any house so I can make those cash offers. So that's the way I've been changing up the way I go on listing appointments.
So, but some agents will say, isn't that a conflict of interest?
Those iBuyer programs that are coming out all across the US, they're automatically doing that in some markets. So regular agents are putting in their comps and they're having a report and it's automatically coming out what that cash buyer amount is. And I want to be ahead of the game before they come into our market. They're not in our market yet. We're a secondary market. So they're in like Nashville, Atlanta, all of those bigger markets to where they're automatically Home Partners of America and the other ones like Turnkey. There's a few other ones. It's in their listing they're in their pre-marketing listing appointment paperwork. Here's your comps, here's what it is right now, and here's an investor that would buy it for this price. And they have this big corporate investor program that buys it for that price, turns around and either will flip it or lease option it. So I'm just doing it on a local level.
So how important is that to do it on the local level instead of letting the big corporations come in and start buying up your honey hole?
I think it's beneficial because you're telling them, I live in this area. This is my market. I want to hold this house as a rental, or I want to fix it up for my buyer. I do that a lot of times where I flip a house. I know what they want. I know their price range. And so I'm fixing it up for them. So if there's a listing appointment that I go on, let's say that it needs a lot of work and they would choose to just walk away and get that cash purchase price. Then I can fix it up for my client and put what they want to put into it and make it financeable and then sell it to them.
So how do you compete with the big guys?
When it comes to that, just being personable and letting them know that you're local.
I think that's super important because a lot of women will say there's too many big investors, there's too many people that have been doing it for too long, there's too many established investors. And the women tell themselves, I'll never be able to get started, I'll never be able to get this first deal, but you've proven how to get your first deal in different ways several different times.
Mm-hmm. One example, real quick, about a seller accepting a cash offer would be the second flip that we did after I joined First Deal on Fast. I had a client.
Tell me.
I don't think I've told you this yet. I have a client that I know her price range. I know that she wants to be close to the mountains. And we looked at a ton of houses. And one of these houses that we went to look at, we made an offer on it, but the seller didn't accept it because it needed central heat and air and a lot of things, and they were trying to get an FHA loan. So they couldn't get the house, but it was still listed on the market. So I brought my husband out there and I said, how much is it going to cost for us to put central heat and air, do new flooring, paint, and open up this wall and add a tiled shower? And he ran the numbers, and we made an offer $25,000 less than the list price. And he accepted it. But the offer that my buyers made that was contingent on financing was only like $5,000 less than the list price.
So did you buy it and then flip it over to your people?
Yep. So we bought it. So we made him a cash offer, $25,000 less than the list price. And he accepted it because he knew that he doesn't have to deal with the adding central heat and air and all of the stuff that needed to be done. So we made it. He accepted it. We fixed it up, and we went with our buyers. We said, here's your budget. Here's what your max amount is. Here's what we can do within your budget. Let me know, like, pick and choose what you want. Let them pick out the paint colors, let them pick out the flooring. And then we ended up selling it to them in their price range. And now they have a super beautiful house, and they are so excited about it.
Yay! That's awesome. I think the key to that is this dude had a problem. He couldn't get rid of this house for what he was asking, or he was going to have to do a lot of work and he didn't want to do the work. And then your buyers had a problem that they wanted it, but they needed it to pass the requirements. So you just solved all of their problems from the experience that you have and the relationships that you'd established, right?
Yes, I love solving problems when it comes to that. Just how can you fix this to benefit everybody? I'm not into this to make a ton of money. I want to be compensated for the work that we're doing. But if there's an opportunity for us to set them up with a beautiful house, and most of the time when we fix up a house for our clients, they end up getting about $5,000 to $20,000 in equity. So
that's awesome.
We're not putting it all in our pocket. We're just getting, I think we try to get about 25,000 for each flip that we do. So that's our numbers. We take what we buy it for, and then what we're going to put into it, and then $25,000, that's what we sell it to them. I like to, it's like we're teeing them up for success, where if something happens, they're going to have equity and they need to sell it really quick. Now they have equity that's going to cover the commission whenever I try to list it for them when they need to get out of it.
That's exactly what I was saying. The way you take care of people, they're totally going to call you and you're going to get repeat business because you just care.
Yeah. I'm listing one of my flips next week. So that's exciting.
That is exciting. That is super exciting.
Of the flip.
Say it again.
It's the resale of a flip. So we flipped it for our clients, and now they're ready to sell, and I'm going to be listing it. Now they have equity, so much equity that they can cover my commission and have enough money to be the down payment of their next house.
That's beautiful. Oh, I love it. I love happy stories. So let me ask you, so in First Deal Done Fast, we talk a lot about wholesaling, lease options, and owner financing. And it sounds like you've not used that because you already had owner financing pretty down pat before you joined. So out of First Deal Done Fast, your favorite thing's been just the off marketing and just making your agenting business better?
Yeah. I mean, everyone in the group talks about lease options and all of this stuff, but I've just been flipping, and we did that one owner finance, and just being the problem solver and the connector and learning the tools that other investors are learning, and how can I speak their language. When we sit down and we talk about what their strategy is, how can I just knock their socks off knowing that I'm doing the exact same thing they're doing. I'm here to help them, and I understand every formula that you're about to run on this house, and make sure it's a good deal for them. Because if I tell my clients, this is a great deal, I will literally text them, this is a great deal. And they're like, okay, make an offer on it, without even me showing it to them. They just understand that I know what I'm looking at, and they value my opinion more when you understand what they're going through.
For sure. When you're in it with them, they look at you like a real partner instead of like an agent who's just doing the agenting thing and chasing the clear to close and all that. You're really running a business here. Yeah. But you're not just running a business. You got some goals with this business that also involves some real estate. And I know you're not trying to make a killing on all this, but you do have to make some money, because tell everybody what you're planning on doing with these deals in the future.
Okay. So I have a real estate team. My sister just walked in. So I have a team, and my mom is the list agent, my sister is the buyer's agent, and I'm specializing with investors. So we kind of separate it that way. But from representing other investors, I have an investor program that I help them through the process. And one of those investors is my husband and I. So the way I treat my husband as a flipper is the way I treat my other clients. On a side note of that, today I have a flipper that today is his last day on his regular 9-to-5 job, and he's flipping full time. I have another investor that has paid off his house, and he's now financially independent just from investing in houses. And just like story after story, there's so many things that is so exciting to me. But we're doing it ourselves to, like I said, with the qualified opportunity zone, that we're taking the capital gains and we're creating our fund, and we're going to be investing into buy and holds for in the future to sell it tax exempt, or avoiding taxes. It's a major way to avoid taxes. It's a lot of hoops to jump through, but I've got it all mapped out, and we are so close to implementing this idea. Part of it would be bringing in my husband as developing a neighborhood for some modular houses. So just because within the qualified opportunity zone. And one of the things we're doing today is we're going to go tour all of those modular houses to see how that works into our plan. But it might not, how we look at every deal is it going to be beneficial to us? Can we see something? Can this be leveraged and copied in the future? If we're going to do a model of this within the qualified opportunity zone, can we do it somewhere else? So we're trying to create that. So we might not do that modular house. We might figure out a better cost-effective way to do it. But we're just looking into all the opportunities to building our first apartment development.
So what is a qualified opportunity zone?
So every governor, I think it was in 2018, chose different areas that within their state that would qualify. And there's a map that you can go to, qualified opportunity zone map, and see the areas. And whenever you sell something, you have capital gains from stocks, selling a business, selling a house, or whatever, you have capital gains. You can create your fund, which would be a new business that's only meant for investing into the zones. And then you have 180 days to put it into your fund's bank account and invest it into buy and holds, either developing new or remodeling a house that you would hold as a rental.
And this is in every state?
Every state, yeah. And in Costa Rica.
Ooh, now that's entertaining.
Is it Costa Rica? There's a few little islands that are U.S. territory.
Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico, yes. Puerto Rico. All of Puerto Rico.
Awesome. Well, I am looking forward to find out more about that, because I think the opportunity zone is close to our honey hole. Mm-hmm. Yours is smack dab in the middle, I think, but mine's on the outskirts. But I could sneak in on there.
I'm moving into the qualified opportunity zone, and the house that we're moving into, it won't qualify. So, for example, if you find a house that you're going to remodel, And this is, you can either build new or you can remodel something. You take, let's say the house is worth $50,000 and the land is worth 25. You have to put the amount of the house value, you take away the land, so the house value is 25. You have to put $25,000 in repairs into fixing up. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through, and this has kind of been a new strategy of mine that I've been driving around every road in the qualified opportunity zone to find something that the house, you could put the amount of repairs into the house and it work within the guidelines that you need to hit for a remodel.
Well, this isn't just new to you. If it started in 2018, it's new to all of us.
Mm-hmm. Steve Glickman said that it's the best real investment opportunity like ever. So
And who's that?
Steve Glickman. He's like a big time in money person. I can't even remember exactly, but there's so many people that are on the bandwagon, but no one has really implemented it yet because the IRS is finishing their last rulings. We should have that out in the next few weeks. And it's one of those buzzwords, everyone's talking about it, but no one's really doing it. So we are so close to having it done. I think we'll have it done within the next month of having our fund and ready to start developing it.
That's so exciting. Congratulations. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I just want to point out too that there are thousands of ways to make money in real estate. And you can get just a nugget that spins you into a totally different area that you had no idea about even a year ago. None of us had an idea about it a year ago, but now it's the hot thing to do and you're in on it. I love that. So tell me, you mentioned somebody else. Who is your biggest real estate hero?
I have quite a few. Are you talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad or Tom Ferry? Okay, Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry is a real estate coach, and I got to meet him the other day at the Jim Blue conference in Vegas, and it was so exciting just to tell him my plans, and he was very surprised of my age and how I have this plan of owning 15 rentals within the next year and some crazy stuff, but how I also specialize in investors and all of that. So he's now my coach, or not my, I'm in his coaching program. He's not my coach. But I'm a huge fan of his. He sends out a lot of value and he loves to see people succeed on the real estate agent side. And you also are really good at seeing other investors succeed on the investor side. So put the two together, it's a great combination.
Well, I am thrilled to be on the same level as Tom Ferry. I will tell you that. How important is it to have a coach, though?
It's very important because they make me get my stuff done. So since I joined the coaching program, I've told you about the investor program. So I've worked with my coach of working out all the kinks and getting that marketed and ready to go to start implementing in my business. And so every other week we're meeting and she's like, what are your numbers? What are your stats? And just on me about what I'm going to be projected to do at the end of the year for my real estate team. And then she also helps me figure out how I can use what I'm doing as a realtor, but also let it go into real estate investing side as well. But we sell a lot of houses on our real estate team. So I really need that to help me stay focused and on track for that. So we have some big goals when it comes to that.
You took another program, I think, from another lady in First Field and Fast. There's tons of coaches in First Field and Fast, too. It's not just me. And I think she helped you a good bit, too.
Yes, Jeanette, her Goal Hackers program was so good.
And Trish, so you've been through two other coaches in First Field and Fast. I mean, this is like where women who want to get stuff done hang out, is in First Field and Fast. And we all just collaborate because it's not competition.
Yes.
We're all just trying to win. But I was talking about Trish. You can talk about Jeanette if you want to.
Oh, they're both awesome. Trish teaches how to people to press live with purpose with Facebook Live, social media marketing, and all of that. So she does a great job with that. And then Jeanette, with her goal hacking program, she's talking about how to stay focused and get your goals done. So honestly, everyone that I've met with the First Field and Fast program, it is so amazing to be connected with other real estate agent women that know what I'm talking about. And I can just like get on there and talk about the craziest stuff that I think it's like, this is so out of my reach and hard to accomplish. And they're like, yeah, I can follow you all the way. I understand your dreams and your goals. But if I try to tell my sister or something, they have no idea what I'm talking about. So to have that connection of people that understand and can dream big with you and push you and encourage you, that was one of the biggest reasons why I love the Facebook group. And learning how to market off-market deals and joining that Facebook group is the best benefit for me.
And I think you do a fantastic job. That's why I brought up the videos, because I think Kendra does more videos in First Build and Fast than I do. She's always in there talking about what she's got going on and encouraging all the other women. And I love to see you doing those videos. And I know you were doing videos before you started with Trish, but after you started learning the process and really tapping into that marketing degree, you are awesome at the videos, and I love it. And I can't imagine how that doesn't also help you on the listing side, on the client side, in every way. Videos are so amazing, and you are absolutely rocking it. And I'm so proud of you for all these deals and for stepping out and getting it done and for investing in yourself and taking coaching and doing all the right things, because your education is the only thing people can't take from you. At some point, worst comes to shove, people could take the qualified opportunity zone benefits, they could take it away, but they can't take your knowledge, your experience, and what you've learned, sometimes the hard way. They can't take that away from you. And I'm so proud of you. You're doing an awesome job.
Thank you. It's definitely been a huge journey, and I can really look back on the point where I realized that I need to start changing and learning more. And after I had Kinley, which is my second one, I had some really bad postpartum depression. And like I would wake up and I couldn't get anything done. I was so unfunctionable. I would have to make a list of the most basic things like get dressed, brush your teeth, like, and representing clients and trying to be the successful person I want to be when I wasn't feeling like that was so hard. So I started making all these changes. I started with my diet. I've lost 40 pounds in the past year. And just then I started listening to audiobooks and listening to like every investor audiobook with the Audible app, constantly learning, and then started going to conferences and programs. And so I went to Jim Blue and then the She Buys It Live, and then paying for these coaches and programs. So overall, I've gotten changed so much in the past year that I have a vision and I know what I'm going to do. And I'm moving towards that. I don't want to be the same person that I was. I want to fall back on that. I want to always be learning and always be working towards what my big, huge goals are.
I've been through some tough situations, and I'll agree with you. Sometimes throwing yourself into a project or throwing yourself into a new growth spurt, or actually like focusing and hammering and saying, this is how I'm going to get out of this rut. That's the only way that we can actually pull ourselves up. And I'm very proud of the way that you've handled that. I didn't even know about that, but that is awesome and good for you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want to say or talk about?
I was talking about how I represent my buyers finding off-market deals.
Let's do it. What you got?
I told you how I flip houses sometimes for my buyers, but what I've learned with First Build and Fast is try to find the off-market deals. So I will find out what their budget is and create a database, and I will send that database. I do it through the tax record with the prospecting section, and I'm not sure if that's just what realtors have access to or if anyone can do that.
Everybody can look up the tax records.
Oh, okay. Well, it's free for me. I don't know if you have to pay for it if you're not a real estate agent. So I do a polygon search, create it by what size, square footage and price appraisal value. And then I create a database and I send that to them. So my buyers are driving around looking at these houses, or they're Googling them and removing all of the bad ones. And they send it back to me. They're scrubbing the list for me.
I love that.
So they're scrubbing it for me. They're telling me they're saying, I would buy that house if you fixed it up, or I would buy this house as is. And I'm sending them a postcard that says, I'm a real estate agent. I have a a buyer that is desperately looking for finding a house. And if you've considered selling your house, please let us know. I send that in a yellow letter postcard or a yellow letter form, and I send it as a postcard. The best return on calls has been from yellow letters. So the tricks that I learned in First Deal and Fast of how to quickly make yellow letters, that's another really, really good tool that I learned from there.
You sent out a batch of yellow letters last week. How did that go?
I got 10% of what I sent out. I sent out 50 and I got 10 calls. It's crazy.
Yeah, baby.
And one of them, I'm actually, he just got back with me on the price, but it's very interesting. And we were talking about like the puzzle and just how to see the problem and how to fix it. It's a huge puzzle, but I'm really considering trying to tackle that problem and go for that one.
I think that's the key. A lot of new real estate investors are worried about the money, and they're worried about the deal, and they're worried about the house, and they're worried about their numbers, and are their comps right, and did they get ARV right, and what if they mess up on the repair cost estimate, and blah, 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 blah. But if you focus on being a problem solver, you'll do as many deals as you want to.
Definitely.
That's the key to real estate investing, is solving people's problems. So what you got going on today?
Well, I won a house on auction yesterday. I got to go look at that.
Congratulations.
I'm not sure if it's something that we're going to go for. I really just got to check it out first. Then we're staging a house, our latest flip. We're staging it and listing it today. Listing another house and taking photos of that today. These are all kind of in the same area. And then going to tour Clayton Homes for looking at their development of creating that development. So it's exciting. It's a weird, nothing's normal. Everything, I think it's so funny, just the random stuff that I do that kind of blends together, being a realtor, being a flipper, being a mom, and all of the stuff that I do on a daily basis. It's so comical to me how different it is.
It's the whole Proverbs 31 woman. You're doing it all, and you're doing it very well with grace and class every single day.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Another thing too, though, do you want to talk about your church program that you're working on?
So that was also a yellow letter thing that I did. There was this house that came up on the MLS, and I had it saved for like an opportunity to buy multifamily. And I had it saved for 2 years. And then all of a sudden I found out my church bought it. It was going into foreclosure, and they bought it at like crazy good price. And so I went up to the person that was running the program and I said, I don't know if you know this, but I've like have this gut feeling about this house, and I've had it saved for like 2 years, and I think it's such a great opportunity. What are you doing with this? And so we got our company to come do a volunteer day, and we painted. And I saw the kitchen, and it was just so bare, and they had opened up a wall, but that was it. They had red countertops and nothing. And I just kept asking these questions because I love flipping houses and I love designing stuff. What are you going to do with this? Who's going to help you with this? They had no vision, no connections. I was like, why don't you just let me make some phone calls? So within a month, we got a whole entire slab of granite, like black leathered granite, donated. We have my husband and I installed, or not me, my husband and his friend installed backsplash that we bought. We're trying to get appliances done. The cabinets are being painted, and then the connections of me sending them the people that we use for flooring, save them about $5,000. Just sending them the people that we work on a daily basis that they have no idea about that stuff. Just reaching out to our connections, we were able to get so much stuff donated or discounted for this house. And it's so beautiful. And what it's going to be is a house, or it's Reunite Ministries, and it's going to be for women that have lost their children in foster care. So the biggest problem right now is foster kids. There's so many of them, and they're going to try to fix the source, which is the mom. They're going to help the mom become a better mother and a better person. So there's 10 bedrooms. So I'm not sure exactly how many women that they're going to have in the program at one time, but this is going to be the house that they live in, that they're going through all the programs, the courses, and all of that. And it's so exciting just to be a part of that. I don't have a history in that kind of world. I just am the connection of finding the discounted and getting the house ready for those women. So it's been really, really exciting to do that. And then I wrote yellow letters. We went to the house and we started driving around looking for houses that we could write letters to. And I wrote a yellow letter talking about the Reunite home, that we love to buy houses close to that area for the phase 2 of the women's home. So finding duplexes, apartment complexes that are close by, the smaller apartments, just to let them know, if you've ever considered selling, let us know, because we might be interested in that.
I think that's a beautiful way to give back to the community and give not just a handout, but a hand up to some women who need some help and want to be helped and get their life back the way they want it to be.
Yeah.
And to be able to work for it and to be reunited with their kids, that has to mean the world to these women.
Definitely. It's very exciting.
Good. All right. What kind of advice do you have for a lady who's thinking about getting started and she's a little bit scared to jump in?
A realtor or an investor? Investor?
Do both.
I think it's really beneficial to do hand in hand, but if your plan is, if you have a regular job and you want to do this on the side, definitely look into getting those connections and trying to do your lease options or owner finance, because that way you're not using your own money and you're making money. You can do this on the side if you have a full-time job. If you get to a point where you feel like you understand that, you have a lot of connections and you want to be a realtor yourself, make sure you find your niche and work that. It's really hard right now. I think in Knoxville, there's over 5,000 listings and there's over 5,000 realtors. There's a lot of agents in the market today. So if you're going to get into that, make sure you know what you're talking about. Make sure you have a good connection. But as far as investors, do what you're doing already. You're listening to this podcast. Keep learning. Join Whitney's Facebook group. Look into the programs. I promise they're going to be worth it. Go network at conferences with other people that are doing the same thing and find out what works for them. And I think that's it. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Keep growing is the best thing, and just keep going for sure. You said something there that I wanted to ask you about. Now I forgot what it was. You mentioned the Facebook group. We'll put the link down in the bottom, but it's the She Buys It, How to Become a Real Estate Investor group. And it's open. It's free for anybody. And Kendra's in there. She puts lots of great posts up, shares lots of wins. She also teaches through her lessons that she's learned. And it's an awesome place to hang out. So I would encourage you to go there. Kendra, if people want to get a hold of you, or they want to see what you're doing, or they want to invest in Knoxville, how should they get in touch with you?
So for like the crazy stuff I do on a daily basis, it kind of goes on my Instagram, which is Kendra-Greene-Ellis, and it's Green with the E at the end. And then if you want to get my email, it's Kendra Greene with the E at the end, Ellis @gmail.com. And follow, if you're on the Facebook group, you'll see me on the Facebook group too. Find me on Facebook.
She's a rock star in there.
Yes. Well, the reason I'm posting the videos in the group is I'm practicing, because I'm working on I'm not doing it on my personal page. I'm just sharing because I know the women in that group, they're not my competition. You're the only one that's in our market. Everyone else is in different markets. So if I share them, I'm just helping them learn what works for me. And there's so many other realtor investors, flippers that are in that group. So I'm just, whatever I learned today, I go live and talk about it. So I'm working on it, but I'm slowly just sharing it within the group. I may do it on the public page, but most of the time when I share good stuff, it's within the First Deal Done Fast group. So if you really want to learn what I've been learning, go join that group.
I'm telling you, we're all coaches in First Deal Done Fast. Everybody's teaching everybody how to do all the things. And it's wonderful because it is a safe place for women to be women and women to say, Toya is going to be on the podcast, and we mentioned Trish and Jeanette, they're going to be on the podcast. But I know Toya will say, y'all, I'm having a crappy day. Nicole is going to be on the podcast, and she'll post in there and say, you know what, I've had a terrible day. And it's just a safe place to say, I need some help, or I need a booster. Or it's also the safe place where sometimes you don't want to go on your personal page. Maybe you feel like this, maybe you don't. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but people on your personal page may feel like it's bragging.
Yes.
When you're talking about making 25,000, you're talking about building a subdivision, you're talking about doing this stuff, because sometimes your people don't get it, but the women in First Still Done Fast, they get it, and they're all big dreamers, and they're all big goal hackers, and they're all massive action takers. And it's that community that you surround yourself with that really promotes you up to the next level. And the tide rises all ships. Holly McRae told me that for the very first time, and I adore Holly McRae. She's the #1 agent in Knoxville, and a fix and flipper, and a mom, and a wife, and all the things. But it really made a lot of sense, because every time Kendra gets a deal, it encourages me to go get a deal. And when I see the other women getting deals, when I see them closing deals, when I see them getting new tenants, and when I see them getting bad reviews, or when I get a bad review, I post it in First Still Done Fast too. So you see the good and the bad and the ugly of all of this. And there is good, bad, and ugly in all of it. It's not just private jets and Lamborghinis.
Definitely.
And we get real in First Still Done Fast. We do real estate in First Still Done Fast.
So that's the hardest thing, is like you said, you don't want to be bragging. You don't want to. In that group is where people understand what you're going through. And if you're making $5,000, oh my gosh, that's amazing. If you're making $50,000, it's amazing. It's the same. We're excited either way. Just keep doing what you're doing. And we're so excited about encouraging everybody to keep going, and any kind of insight that we can share to help others. That's why I love the group.
Yeah, me too. That's what I needed when I started. And so that's why we do what we do, is to really encourage women. It's not that I'm down on men. We don't do any man bashing. It's just that I encourage women, because that's what I need. That's what I needed. And that's what I still need. I need to see moms out flipping. I need to see women out running businesses with a baby on their hip. I need to see us doing all of it, because we can have all of it. It's just going to be a different struggle than, I'm sorry, it's not a struggle. The struggle is not real. The juggle is real. That's what's real, not the struggle. The juggle is real. And that's what we are for each other in First Still Done Fast. So I appreciate you so much. You've done an awesome job. I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait to see how far you grow up in the next year.
Thank you.
Yay! All right. Thank you so much. And we will talk to you soon, because I know you will be back on the She Buys It podcast.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.